Professor Vikram Singh is the Vice Chancellor of the International University in Greater Noida. I met him only recently. I got very fascinated with his vision and with his capacity as an orator. I requested him to join the Vice Chancellor Conclave and with his vibrant speech sensitize the audience that how can we empower the youth in medicine. Thank you, Dr. Vikram Singh.
Thank you very much, sir. Good morning, everybody. Respected Professor Dr. D.K. Gupta, respected Dr. Mohan Das, sir, respected Professor Jamkar, Professor U.S. Sharma, Honorable Vice Chancellors, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. I'm humbled to come before you, and whereas other speakers have spoken out of knowledge, I speak out of ignorance. I'm humbled by the fact that I'm standing at the feet of learned men and women who would be the salt of the nation wherever they are. Dr. Gupta, I'm reminded of the lines of R.W. Emerson that there is always a best way of doing everything, even if it is to boil a tomato. And you have done it in such clockwork precision, a surgical precision, that you have left nothing to chance. I envy you for your competence and your capabilities, sir. We need more Dr. Guptas, because if I can go back in experience, of course, I will not go into despondency. I had recently the opportunity to travel to America extensively, sir, and it was heartening to hear that our boys and girls in the medical field have done the nation proud. They are indeed, Stanford Medical School doctors said that they are the best of the best. And what are the two qualities that you find most amazing about Indian doctors? Firstly, they are lifelong learners. They don't rest on their oars. Number two, they are not greedy. The pharmaceutical companies don't seem to have much impact on them. These are very vibrant sentences, and I take it one of the biggest compliments I have received ever in my lifetime. There are certain other observations, sir, that 3,000 of our young doctors went abroad and they have not yet returned. The nation invests 1.7 crores on the graduation of a doctor in All India Institute of Medical Sciences, Delhi. 53% went abroad. We are still awaiting their return. There is one doctor to 460 in the US and one in 2,000 in India. 5% of Indian doctors are responsible for the medical care facilities in all developed countries. Having said that our boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, join the noblest profession on earth. And it's not that what I'm saying, I have got this feedback from professors in Stanford, in Harvard, who have always said that being a lifelong learner is always an asset in any learning field, and also education, and knowledge is instant global advantage. Unimpeachable integrity. I thought it was perhaps meant for public servants. But to hear that this trait is also so relevant in the field of medicine came as a pleasant surprise to me as well. We also have certain very significant observations, and I'll share them before you, that what worked yesterday will not work today. There is so much happening everywhere that by the time this conclave is over, there'll be thousands of papers related to this field. Fields not only related to basic surgery and medicine, but as diverse as robotics, stem cell research, nanotechnology, and IT. The rate of change is so fast that the chip capability is doubling every few weeks. And one who has decided to rest on his oars, perhaps, is so back that he is not able to keep up with the changes. I am from the police background. When I joined the services 40 years ago, people said that you have the right ingredients of being a good police officer. That was that, yes, you were more than 200 pounds, you could do 500 push-ups, you could bend an iron rod, but the same qualifications today, I would be lucky if I become a constable. Likewise, in medicine, the field is changing so fast. I would draw to what is happening the world over, the change in the world in medicine and crime both. A Mexican warlord is admitted in a famous New York hospital, heavily guarded with automatic weapons and gunmen and bouncers. Not a single shot is fired, but the warlord is murdered. How? The IT data card is manipulated in a manner that the antibiotic that was to be administered to him is changed to an antibiotic to which he is highly allergic. And just one dose and the warlord is finished. Data mining. Professional hackers and crackers are hired to find out all widows above the age of 70 who are millionaires and on our barbiturates and on a typical medicine. Why? So that $1 a month could be deducted from their bank account without their knowing it. And millions of dollars are removed without their knowing it. Dr. Siddharth, could I have possibly, not that it is required, but if I could have the slide presentation as well? Not at all. By the time the projection comes up, not that it is relevant, because I'll speak to you from the heart. That is, of course, merely an academic exercise. Correct. In my career of almost 40 years, till the year 1988, a doctor in society was treated akin to God. And the doctors treated the patients akin to God, something like a divine presence in the hospital. There was not a single case of assault or an attempt to lodge an FIR against doctors or nursing homes. In 1988, when I was senior Sugnal Police Agra, the first case came of somebody trying to lodge an FIR against a medical practitioner. And nothing happened for the next 2 years. By the time 1995 came, there were special interest groups of NGOs, special interest group of lawyers, special interest groups of petty politicians ganging up to blackmail and twist the arm of nursing homes and doctors, to blackmail them. In fact, the government had to issue a regular government order to see that before lodging an FIR, please have it verified by a senior officer if there is any depth into it, is there any meaning to it, and only if you are convinced that something like this is required, then and only then should an FIR be lodged. This information overload, time starvation, this avalanche of information would require certain skills. It requires the knowledge of law, finance, economics, and basic rudiments of administration and management. The basic concept of Kaizen and Kaikoku, constant innovation, constant improvement, constant going ahead and inspection, team building, crisis resolution, and all concepts of management have to be used by our young doctors on a day-to-day basis. Indeed, as Dr. Gupta said, that if medical tourism is a reality, we are getting patients from America and Europe, it is a brain drain with a reverse. And why not? If our young doctors are at par with the best, our medical facilities are also the best, but they come with a cost. The demand and supply are governed by market forces. Whether a dentist is in demand, whether a medical doctor is in demand, that remains to be seen. However, my sole purpose is that a doctor was like a parent. And in fact, Dr. Siddharth, those of us who live in Madhya Pradesh, UP, Bihar, would know that a doctor was normally addressed as Ma Baap, Doctor Sahab.